Hey guys, welcome to a new video. Like, comment and subscribe if you enjoy. Without any further interruptions, enjoy the What If. Chapter 2. It's not lying, it's distorting reality. We need to plan things more. Naruto smirked as he heard Nami try once more to get Luffy and Zoro to do something other than just sit around, sleep, yell out in the middle of nowhere, or just all around do nothing useful. He would have included himself with the other two as someone that partook in the festivities that were aforementioned, but seeing as how Naruto didn't call himself one of the crew, he could say that about them and not himself, therefore freeing up his conscience to do all of Jack's shit when Nami brought these things to him. Oh, Nami said that she wasn't a part of the crew. She would claim up and down that they were simply partners if anything, but the way she was trying to take the lead here, it was clear that whether she admitted it or not, she was a member of the crew. Luffy looked at her strangely as he sat at the tip of the ship. What do you mean, Nami? She sighed. Are we really going to go to the Grand Line like this? Luffy kept his confused look until the thought hit him. Oh. That's right. Even though Uncle Cabbage gave us plenty of fruits, we don't have any meat on this ship. Naruto snickered as Nami yelled that it wasn't about the food supplies. Uncle Cabbage was the name that Luffy gave to a strange man named Gaimon whom they had all met on a deserted island a few days ago. Naruto got a good 8 silent chuckles off of the man's appearance, a man with a massive green afro and a body compressed into a treasure chest, but he really felt for the guy when he heard his story. Anyway, after they had befriended Gaimon, or Uncle Cabbage, he had allowed them to take some fruits from the island in order to stay alive while at sea. Naruto had to admit though that Luffy had a point. He wanted some meat too. What he wouldn't give for some miso ramen at the moment. Anyway, Naruto had tuned out their conversation as he was sure he would hear it again and again before he was done traveling with these guys. He thought more towards what he thought about these people. Luffy was, well, Luffy. Naruto would go out on a limb and call Luffy stupid, but he would just be calling a past version of himself stupid in the process. Although he would swear to himself that he was never as thick in the head as Luffy was. Naruto would call himself ignorant. Luffy was just dumb. Dumb. But Naruto liked the guy. He was simple, not unpredictable or unstable. You knew what you were going to get with Luffy, and that's just how he wanted it. He was straightforward, friendly, oddly charismatic, and absurdly strong, stronger than anyone else Naruto had met thus far anyway. He reminded Naruto a lot of himself actually. Zoro was lazy as all hell. Not as lazy as Naruto's old buddy Shikamaru, as when he wasn't found sleeping he found Zoro training with weights. However, it was evident that the swordsman liked to multitask, as he had found him lifting weights and sleeping at the same time. That kind of thing eerily reminded him of Rock Lee back when he was in Konoha. Other than that, Zoro was a pretty nice guy. He liked to drink as far as Naruto could tell, as he had heard him mumbling about a lack of sake on the ship since leaving Orange Town, and that wasn't a bad thing either. He had an intimidating outer appearance at first, but Naruto found him to be a very nice guy, also very loyal, as he told Naruto that prior to swearing allegiance to Luffy he hunted pirates. Naruto figured that he had one hell of a goal, to be the greatest swordsman in the world. Naruto knew some pretty amazing sword users in his day, but after beginning to realize just how big the world was when he looked at one of Nami's maps and didn't even see the elemental nations on it, he started to realize that Zoro had one hell of a climb ahead of him. Nami was kind of strange to Naruto. She was definitely hiding something as far as he could see. On one hand, she claimed she wasn't a part of the crew and tried to identify their relationship as business partners or even an alliance, but she took an active interest in their well-being, even his, and he wasn't even a part of the crew himself. She tried to make the others realize what a big deal their journey was and how much danger they really could have been in at certain times. It took a little prying and pestering, but eventually he was able to ascertain Nami's dream in life. She wanted to draw a complete map of the world, and Naruto promised her that he would help her with that by taking her to the elemental nations, to make her one of the few people that have actually been able to mark it accurately on any maps. This drew a blush from the girl that elicited a laugh from the blonde immortal. While he was lost in thought, he found that they had landed somewhere. What? He looked around at the island they had stopped at and yawned. Where are we? Somewhere that actually has a town this time. Nami nodded. Yep, we followed the map and it says that there's a village on this island, so let's get going. Naruto nodded and smacked the sleeping Zoro to wake him up. Wake up, sword boy. We're going into town. Zoro yawned and jumped off of the boat. It's been a while since I've stood on solid land. Naruto fought the urge to roll his eyes. It wouldn't have been so long, but your ass is always asleep. Zoro waved him off. By the way, I've just noticed. He pointed up at a ridge. What are those guys doing there? There were 3 little kids and a teenager staring at them. The 3 kids had hair that looked respectively like an onion, a carrot, and a pepper. The teen had a long nose, black curly hair that was covered by a yellow plaid bandana with goggles over them. He also had on brown overalls and a white sash. Upon being discovered, the little kids ran away, leaving the teen by himself. He shouted at them telling them to come back, but they were long gone. Turning back to the recently landed group, he took up an easy stance. I am the great pirate fleet leader, Usopp, who is in charge of security in this village. I'm also known as Captain Usopp. He took on a confident look. It's best if you don't try to attack this village, because my 80 million men will destroy you. Naruto's mouth quirked in amusement. If you have 80 million people on this little island, then you should be trying to get your own ass out of here instead of trying to keep us out. I call bullshit. Usopp panicked. Wah, I've been found out. Nami sweat dropped. It didn't help that you just told us. Usopp despaired even more. Arg. I can't believe I said that. Luffy seemed pretty entertained by this guy. You're pretty funny, you know that. Usopp straightened up at that. Hey, don't underestimate me. I am a man with high self-esteem. Everyone calls me the Honorable Usopp. Naruto rolled his eyes. Sure they do. He moved past Luffy's crew and Usopp. Where did those kids go? Did they run back to their town? I'm hungry. Does this place have ramen by any chance? XXX. No. Naruto had tears in his eyes as he read the menu at a small tavern in Syrup Village. No ramen. How can there be no ramen anywhere? This isn't funny anymore. I need my fix. He was for the most part ignored as Usopp told them about where they could get a ship. Naruto perked up. Oh, so that's what you guys ended up talking about back on the boat. Luffy grinned at him. Yep. Every pirate crew needs an awesome pirate ship. And with us on it, it has to be the coolest ship on the seas. Naruto sighed and cracked a small smile at Luffy's enthusiasm. He may not be very smart, but damn if the guy wasn't enthusiastic. So that's the plan for you guys. You're going to go and hit up that mansion this guy is telling us about and see if you can get a ship. Usopp nodded. It's the only place in the village you can get a ship. It's not very big, but it's not really small either. It belongs to the owner of the mansion on the hill. But she's really a sick young girl that's always bedridden. Nami looked stunned. She's sick. Then how is she the owner? Luffy and Zoro weren't even listening at this point as they both wanted more meat and sake, respectively. Usopp 10 explained how the girl living in the mansion was left everything by her parents when they died of sicknesses of their own, and how she was actually very lonely. Nami sighed after hearing the story. All right, never mind, we'll go searching for a ship somewhere else then. Naruto grinned at her. Nami-chan. For someone not on the crew, or so she says, you sure don't act like it. Nami glared at him. And what am I supposed to act like then? A lazy ass like you. A nod and smirk was her answer. That's precisely what you should act like. Usopp noticed something. Oh, earlier you guys said you were looking for companions. Is that right? Luffy finished off another plate of food and looked over at Usopp. That's right. Is there somebody that actually wants to be our companion? Usopp pointed to himself. Let me be the captain and I'll join you. Naruto let out a bark of laughter while Luffy and Nami simply looked away and spoke simultaneously. Never mind. Usopp's loud response to being so readily dismissed added fuel to Naruto's humor flame. Eventually, after looking out of the window, Usopp excused himself, saying that it was that time again and left Luffy, Zoro, Nami, and Naruto to their own devices inside of the tavern. Naruto looked out the window himself and took note of the environment. Wow, this is a really peaceful village. I don't think I've seen an actual functioning village that runs like this place in a long time, if I ever have. It's like nothing ever happens here. Nami leaned back in her seat and stretched. I know what you mean. This place kind of makes you almost want to fall asleep just by walking through it. It's such a cozy place. Naruto nodded. Yeah, nothing like where I came from, that's for sure. This got everyone's attention. Luffy swallowed his food and spoke what was on everyone's mind. So Naruto, where are you from anyway? You don't look like any East Blue person I've ever met. Naruto chuckled. That's because I'm not really from the East Blue, Luffy. I'm from somewhere off of the map. It's actually so far south you'd think you'd have sailed around the world to reach it. It's also really easy to miss if you don't know where it is or you're a crappy navigator. Barely anyone from the rest of the world has been there. Luffy looked excited. Wow. This place sounds really mysterious. He then registered that Naruto said far south. You're from the South Pole. Naruto face faltered but picked him up with a smile, shaking his head. Honestly, now that I think about it, it is a pretty weird place, but being out here and seeing some of the stuff I have so far, it's not that much stranger than being out on the ocean. But my village, it was actually pretty big. There were tons of people in it and they were all busy all of the time. Our military was pretty much the most important job in the village. The most respected, influential, and powerful people were a part of our military. Zoro looked at Naruto. So you had Marines stationed there? Naruto laughed. Oh no, not at all. We were ninja. Every major nation had its own force of ninja, and they fought on and off all the time. It was really very irksome to think about. Nami looked at Naruto with an appraising eye. So what did you do as a ninja, Naruto? Naruto shrugged. Now was as good a time as any to tell them a little of everything. From menial chores, to escorts, to sabotage, to flat-out assassination and kidnapping. If our leader thought it was the right thing for us to take, he would accept the mission and assign it. You basically lived your entire life in that system. The only real way out was death or retirement, and not a lot of people lived long enough to retire. Zoro was somewhat suspicious after hearing that. It sounds like you were a ninja. A fairly good one too if the way you talk has any indication. Naruto nodded. So how did you end up getting out of there? Naruto looked at him wistfully. That is a story for another time, I suppose. The sound a door slamming open alerted them all to someone entering the tavern. Usopp pirate group is here. The three little kids from when they landed had shown up with wooden swords drawn. They all just looked at the kids in confusion. What the hell? They looked around for Usopp, who had led them there. Hey, where's the captain? You don't think he was eaten up, do you? Naruto palmed his face while Nami laughed at the little kids. What are you munchkins babbling about? Who ate who? And stop yelling. We're inside, don't you know? What did you do to our captain Usopp? Give us back our captain, you pirates. Naruto's eye twitched as he looked at them all. For the love of all things ramen and ramen related, why is it that all of you people keep calling me a damn pirate? He gestured to himself. Do I look like a pirate? No. Do I act like a pirate? No. All I am is just some guy that got on a boat with the wrong flag on it. Does that make me a pirate? The kids were a little taken back by his outburst. What did you do to the captain? Naruto slumped in his seat in defeat. Asked the guy with the hat. Luffy abruptly stood up and patted his belly. Aw man. What a delicious meat. Meat. The kids suddenly jumped to another conclusion. He ate the captain. Naruto snorted in amusement. Ah, I forgot how fun it was to pick on little kids sometimes. Does that make me a bad person? Nah, I'm just bored. Zoro chuckled off to the side as the kids turned their attention to him. Tell us what you did. Zoro smirked at them. Nothing really, we just ate him. He finished darkly. The kids stared at Nami in fear. What are you all looking at me for? She snapped at them until they passed out before turning to Zoro. Why did you tell them those weird things? Naruto got a few laughs off of the kids' mortified stony expressions. Oh, calm yourself down, Nami-chan, it's just some good old-fashioned family fun. They'll wake up in like 30 seconds and forget that all of this just happened. After waking the kids up and explaining what Usopp had said, they all understood. Oh, so it was time for him to go to the mansion again. Luffy was curious. Why does he go all the way up there? To tell lies. Luffy sweat dropped. Isn't that supposed to be a bad thing to do? It's not really such a bad thing. It's actually very good. Naruto snickered from his seat. Seriously, what is it with these people? Is everyone he meets out here going to be this goofy regularly? They then explained how Usopp went to tell stories to the girl that was stuck inside of the mansion due to her sickness. Nami nodded in understanding. so in order to help keep her spirits up he's been going for a year to amuse her with made-up stories. The kids all nodded with huge grins on their faces. Yup. I like his nosiness. I like the captain's cowardice. I like his lies. Naruto hit the table in humor as Zoro sweat dropped. What kind of strong points are those? Luffy then stood up and shouted that if he was making her feel better then they would go and ask for a ship. Despite trying to tell him that such an approach really wasn't the best way to get anything done, they all ended up at the mansion and watched Luffy climb over the gate keeping them out. Having no other options as they really couldn't let the idiot go off on his own, they all climbed over the fence except the little kids. Naruto noticed this. Hey, can't you guys get over? They all shook their heads. No, Captain Usopp was always the one to make sure we stayed outside. Naruto frowned and picked all of them up before vaulting over the fence with one jump, landing on the other side. The kids were stunned as he let them go. Whoa. How did you do that? Naruto rubbed the back of his head sheepishly. A lot of practice. He pointed over to where Luffy was going, finding Usopp sitting by a tree talking inside the building. By the time they had gotten over there Luffy had already asked for a ship. Of course this was cut short. What are you doing here? You can't just barge into the mansion like this. Usopp turned away with a sour look on his face. The butler again. The blonde girl in the window tried to save everyone some face. Listen Klahadore, these people are. You don't have to explain, Ojo-sama, I will ask you about it later. He cut her off. The rest of you, please get out. Or is there something you need to say? Luffy smiled at him. I want a ship. No way. The dismissal left Luffy rejected and in need of consoling from Zoro. Klahadore turned his attention to Usopp. You're Usopp-kun. I've heard some rumors about you. The villagers talk about you all the time. The guards said you were lurking outside of the gates. What do you want here? Usopp tried to come up with some lie about mole rats but Klahadore shot it down. I can see that you lie very well. I've heard about your father too. You're the son of a filthy pirate, so I'm not surprised you've turned out this way, but you had better stay away from Ojo-sama. This got everyone else's attention. His dad was a pirate. Usopp bristled at the slight against his father. However, did you say filthy? Klahadore adjusted his glasses with the palm of his hand. You and the Ojo-sama belong to totally different worlds. This guy was really starting to rub Naruto the wrong way. He was acting like a superior douche, telling people to know their place. Is it money that you're looking for? Name your price. Kaya finally had enough of this. That's enough, Klahadore. Apologize to Usopp-san at once. He simply gestured at Usopp as if he were less than him. There is no need for me to apologize to this uncivilized person, I'm just telling the truth. I feel sorry for you. You hate your father, don't you? Because he's a dumb treasure hunter that deserted his family and his village. Usopp clenched his fists. He'd better hit this guy already because Naruto was fixing to haul off and do it himself. I won't let you say another bad thing about my father. Klahadore chuckled. You're not very smart, are you? You should have just lied like usual. You could have said that he was a traveling merchant, or that he and you were not blood related. Shut up. Usopp had had enough and finally punched the bespectacled butler in the face. Naruto smirked. It took him long enough to do something about it. The butler held his face on the ground, so violent, like father like son. Shut up. Usopp cut him off. I'm proud that my dad was a pirate. I'm proud that he was a brave warrior of the sea. I may like to lie, but I'm not ashamed of having a pirate's blood flow in me. I don't need to pretend that I'm not. Klahadore continued to insult Usopp and his father, saying that he only spent time with Kaya for her money. Naruto had tuned out the conversation at this point and started focusing on Klahadore. This guy wasn't just some random butler. No butler would take a punch like that and keep running their mouth. Hell, most butlers would have stopped speaking after the first time their master told them to stop. The way the guy adjusted his glasses, that was totally weird, such an unnecessary gesture to use the palm instead of the fingers. He stopped pondering as he heard Usopp say he was never coming back. That was a lie. There was no way he was going to just leave that girl alone with that asshole of a butler by herself. Luffy was being held back by Zoro from going over and cleaning the guy's clock until he yelled for everyone to get out. After some apprehension they all left the premises except for Naruto, who simply stood in place and stared at Klahadore. The butler adjusted his glasses once more, getting a small tick from Naruto's eyes as he watched him do it. I told you and your ragamuffin friends to vacate the area. Naruto simply didn't respond and stayed staring, the two as still as statues. He finally turned and walked away. Don't ever speak to me like that ever again. I'm not Usopp and I'm not Luffy. I have absolutely no problems showing you your place. I've seen things that you couldn't even imagine and I've done things that you couldn't even comprehend. I'm not some random hood, you'd best keep that in mind, Klahadore, understood? Naruto didn't let him answer as he jumped back over the gate and left. XXX something about that Klahadore just pissed him off. Maybe it was the casual dismissal of people he viewed under him. Maybe it was the way he walked as if he were better than him. Yeah right, he's better than Naruto, he's a damn butler. Maybe it just was the way he adjusted his glasses, because that crap was irritating to look at. Naruto was broken from his personal thoughts once more as he spied an odd sight coming his way. A man in a long blue coat, blue hat, heart-shaped sunglasses and a strange beard that was actually a mushroom at closer glance was walking backwards down the road. Naruto stopped walking himself to watch the strange man pass him by until he too came to a stop. The man looked at Naruto, then at the mansion Naruto had come from, then at the mansion again. Naruto raised an eyebrow at the strange man. Can I help you with something, or are you just going to keep looking back and forth at me because you're weirding me out? The man focused fully on Naruto. Now why am I weird? I'm just a simple hypnotist. What brings you out to these parts, brother? Naruto felt something within him tell him to ignore this man and move along, but he was too damn curious to do so. I'm just passing through. The man pulled out a ring on a rope and began to swing it in front of Naruto. Well then allow me to show you one of my tricks then. When I say, 1, 2, Django, you will be very sleepy, understand? 1, 2. Naruto tried to back off from the man. I don't think that's really necessary. Django. After that Naruto saw nothing but darkness. XXX. Later that night, wake up Naruto. A kick to the side was Naruto's wake-up call that evening as he opened his eyes to find Luffy, Usopp, Nami, and Zoro standing over him. Naruto sat up with a yawn. What going on, you guys? Why am I in the middle of the road? His mind filled with recollection of what happened. Oh damn it, that hypnotist guy. Django. Usopp simply said. Naruto blinked. What, you guys met him too? He didn't pull his hypnotizing crap on you, did he? Luffy grinned. He got me with it too. He made me fall off of a cliff while I was sleeping. Naruto sweat dropped. Of course he did, Luffy. Why am I not surprised? He then looked at the serious faces that everyone else had. What's with those looks? You'd think someone was coming to burn the town to the ground tomorrow or something. When all he got in response was awkward silence, his eyes widened. No way, really. Naruto looked at Usopp. So what's going to happen? Do you know who's coming? What their plan is? Anything like that at all? Usopp gritted his teeth. It's that bastard Klahadore. He's really Captain Kuro of the Black Cat Pirates. He'll have his crew come tomorrow with a plan to sack the town and kill Kaya to get her money for himself. Naruto bared his teeth. So I actually get to tear a piece out of that bastard, do I? Naruto looked at the rest of them intently. I get Kuro. No arguments, no trying to pull rank on me, Luffy. I'm not on your crew. I'm not a pirate. That guy just rubs me the wrong way and now I actually have an excuse to beat the crap out of him. I'm taking it. Naruto stood up. Now how are we getting ready for this? XXX. They brought Naruto to a sloped path surrounded by cliffs by the shore that they had coated with oil so that the attacking pirates couldn't climb. It was dangerous because the others could slip down it, but Naruto wasn't concerned about himself. If he used the water walking exercise he could operate just fine, and you're all sure that this is where they're attacking from? Usopp nodded. This is main path to the village. If they want to get there, this is the path they have to take. Naruto looked around as the sun began to rise. I'm going to stay hidden for the time being. If you all need help I'll jump in, but for now too many of us crowding the pass could be a bad thing. Usopp laughed. Sure, leave the crazy ideas and the shooting to me. Naruto laughed to himself and hid himself along the foliage of the sides of the pass to wait it out. After a while he wondered where they were until he heard Nami say that she had heard something from the north. Naruto cursed to himself and took off through the woods to reach the other side of the island. Somehow Usopp beat Naruto to the other slope, but he chalked it up to the adrenaline and the fact that he was the local. This is your last chance. If you don't give up now, my crew of 1,000,000,000 will destroy you all. Naruto heard the enemy pirates grumbling about what a stupid lie that was and smirked to himself, making his favorite cross-hand seal while he hid and subtly flooded the area with Kage Bunshin. Usopp tried to bribe them with the 5,000,000 belly that was inside Nami's ship, but eventually they simply attacked. Naruto watched as Nami showed up and attempted to assist Usopp, who attempted to snipe them off at a distance with his slingshot until he was felled from a shot with a hammer. Naruto cursed to himself as he watched Nami get injured trying to defend him. Enough of this crap. The pirates turned to Naruto, who was standing on the ledge. Hey Usopp, sorry I'm late, I had a little trouble getting your army together. Naruto snapped his fingers as his identical copies poured out of the forest and began attacking the shocked Black Cat pirates. Naruto picked Usopp up off of the ground and wiped him off as the long-range fighter was stunned by what he was seeing. What is that? Are you that strong? Naruto grinned at him. You bet. Now clean yourself up. We're just getting started. My clones vanish after one good hit to them, so whoever else is left standing will actually be competent. Naruto walked over to Nami and helped her to her feet as well. Are you alright, Nami-chan? Nami nodded gratefully and steadied herself on her own legs. Why were you so late, Naruto? Naruto gave her a winning smile. Well, since we were fighting the Black Cat pirates, I figured that was super bad luck, so I took the long way here and doubled around a dozen times. Luffy and Zoro arrived at that moment with angry looks on their faces. Luffy pointed at Usopp. Usopp, why didn't you tell me which way north was? Usopp sweat dropped. You took off running first, I thought you knew. Zoro pointed his sword at Nami. Thanks a lot, Nami, for leaving me at the bottom of the oily hill. You stepped on my head, damn it. Nami waved it off. Someone had to get out of there, didn't they? The other two fighters noticed that there were a half-dozen Narutos currently beating the daylights out of the invading pirates, while there was one standing by Nami making sure she was able to stand by herself. Luffy pointed at the display. Wow. You have a lot of twin brothers, Naruto. Naruto laughed. They're not brothers, Luffy. This is another of my techniques, Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Shadow Clone Jutsu. It lets me split that energy of mine that I told you about, chakra, evenly between them and lets them become fully tangible and real entities. They can do stuff like think and fight and all kinds of things. Naruto stopped talking and narrowed his eyes as he felt the last of his clones dispel. Turning around, he saw Django swinging his ring on the rope that Naruto could now identify as a blade. Was he hypnotizing his crew? Just as he thought that the men that Naruto had pummeled jumped right back to their feet, invigorated. Nami yelled in surprise, what? Naruto-kun just beat them all senseless a second ago and now they look as good as new. One of the pirates punched the cliffside and crumbled it. Zoro was in disbelief. They can destroy the entire cliff with one punch. Naruto sighed. Great, now instead of fighting weaklings I have to fight a bunch of berserk weaklings. Usopp, Nami, get back. Zoro nodded. Right, you guys get back. Me, Naruto, and Luffy will handle all of them. Right, Luffy. Luffy. Luffy let out a loud yell, forcing Naruto and Zoro to palm their foreheads. Oh great. He's hypnotized too. Luffy stormed down the hill at the mass of attacking pirates. Gomu Gomu no Gatling, Gum Gum Gatling gun. Luffy blasted his arms out in a flurry of rapid-fire fists that pounded away at the Black Cat pirates, knocking them all back, if not out, effortlessly. He then ran past their fallen bodies and grabbed their ship's helm. Naruto let out a high-pitched scream as he realized what was going to happen. Wait. Luffy. No. Don't destroy the ship. No. Luffy ripped off the helm of the ship and held it threateningly at the enemy pirates. He's going to use that thing to hit us. Captain, do something. Django quickly pulled up his ring. 1, 2, Django, and you will be asleep. 1, 2, Django. Luffy fell asleep while holding the helm and fell backwards, dropping the helm on himself and a lot of the pirates. Nami sighed in relief with a smile. It looks like he finished all of them. Naruto let out tears of anguish. Damn it, Luffy, don't destroy it. I was going to steal that after we were done kicking these guys' asses. That's just great. I can't fix that, I'm not that good. Now I'm stuck on that other boat with the rest of you. I want a ship. I want open space. I want elbow room. Hey Butchie, the ship's stern is gone. You're right, I wonder what happened to it. Heads turned at the sound of more people on the ship as two guys in cat-themed costumes jumped out and landed on the ground. One was a fat guy with a cat half mask covering his head and no shirt, the other was a skinny guy. Both had cat claws with blades on their fingers. Django pointed at the group. Butchie, Shamu, no matter what, we have to get out of here. As you can see, there are some people blocking our exit from this slope. Can you take care of them for us? The two newcomers acted cowardly at fighting them all, namely Zoro, who was out ahead of the rest. However, when the skinny one trotted out hopelessly and got close enough to Zoro, he turned his killer instinct on and began to fight him head to head. In their initial clash, Zoro ended up getting his swords taken by the skinny cat fighter Shamu. Give me my swords back, Zoro demanded. Shamu chuckled. Oh, these. Before we fight, I have to say that they're really obstructive. He threw the swords aside, leaving Zoro with one. Zoro lunged out swiftly and reached his swords before the skinny warrior drove his claws into his back when he grabbed for them. Upon pinning Zoro on the ground, the fat brother, Butchie, jumped high into the air, killing technique, cat pounce. Almost succeeding in driving both of his feet into Zoro's spinner skull, he cracked the ground with his landing. Zoro was actually terrible at one-sword techniques, thus the two brothers were able to overwhelm him and drive him back. Nami tried to get Zoro his sword but was stopped by Django, who cut her shoulder. Naruto growled darkly and narrowed his eyes at Django as killing intent filled the area. Naruto stopped growling as he realized that it wasn't leaking from him, he had control of his own. Django was basically quivering. Ah, that feeling is. Captain Kuro, Klahadore, was standing at the top of the pass. It has passed dawn and my plan is still not complete. What the hell are you doing? Don't tell me you've been stopped by these rats. Say something, Django. Django backed off slightly. Well, you said that the Usopp kid wouldn't cause us any trouble. Kuro laughed. Yes, I did, but the fact is that you all are simply weak. The brothers took offense to this and questioned Kuro's strength as he hadn't fought in 3 years. You're not our captain anymore. Before you kill us, we'd better kill you first. They both attacked Kuro with their claws but hit nothing but an afterimage. Kuro stood behind them with an extremely long pair of cat claws on his hands. You said you would kill who? As they turned to face him, he had vanished again, hanging off of their shoulders like an old friend. However, he had a blade at both of their throats, terrorizing them both. I feel my body resisting me a little bit. You're right, I'm not your captain anymore. I'm just someone who paid you to do a job, and if you find yourselves unable to accomplish it, I'll finish you myself. I find that these last 3 years have lowered my temper, so I'll give you 5 minutes to kill these people, and if you cannot, I will kill you all myself. Nami took advantage of the confusion and kicked Zoro his swords. The newly inspired Nyaban brothers attacked Zoro once more, who simply crossed his swords in a particular movement, Toragari Tiger Hunt. Zoro's attack finished them in one move. He stood up and pointed at the Kuro. Don't worry, I'll beat the rest of you in just 5 minutes. Django hypnotized the still living Butchie, who had a cross scar across his belly and chest where Zoro cut him. Upon being hypnotized, the large cat-themed killer went berserk. Kuro tapped his foot impatiently. 3 minutes, and I will kill all of you. Naruto glared at him and finally moved towards him. You know what? That might be more threatening to me if you weren't a damned butler and if you weren't so pathetically weak. What did I tell you yesterday, Tem? I guess it's time for me to really show you your place. Naruto's hands were sunk into his pockets as he strode away from protecting Usopp and started walking towards Kuro. Klahadore, stop everything. Kaya screamed from the top of the pass. I heard everything from Mary. Kuro pushed his glasses up on his face. So he's still alive. I thought I'd already finished him. Kaya pleaded with him and tried to bribe him to leave the village as long as she gave him all of her money, but the man simply laughed at her proposal. You misunderstand, Kaya Ajo-sama. I want your money, but I also want a peaceful life. The villagers trusted me for 3 years. It became a part of my peaceful life. My plan will only succeed when I obtain your money and peace. Kaya pulled out a pistol upon understanding that he was here to kill her no matter what. And Kuro began to appeal to her sympathetic side. Do you remember that for the last 3 years we've been together every day? We went to town together. I took care of you while you were sick, we were happy and sad together. I've spent 3 years doing these inane things, everything I've done until today, is to kill you. Usopp launched himself at Kuro to deliver a punch, but he was clocked coming in and was about to be shredded with his claws until a set of metal shuriken cut Kuro's body and cut him across his face. His crew had their jaws dropped, the captain's been hit. Naruto stood with 3 more shuriken spinning around his fingers. I've had enough of hearing you talk. Get up so I can kill you on your feet, dead man. You're not in my league. Kuro calmly stood up with blood coming down his face. So you're another of these ruffian pirates just like the other fools here. Django, I will kill this boy. You take care of Kaya Ajo-sama. After you're done, kill her. Zoro tried to stop the hypnotist from getting past, but the berserk Butchie attacked him once more. Zoro ended up blocking him with his sword and foot. I already beat you once, I won't lose to you. He yelled, kicking him off. Naruto motioned to Usopp, who was still on the ground, as he kept his eyes on Kuro. Usopp. That guy is going to harm Kaya. Get up and stop him. Usopp tried moving but was still too wounded to do much. In his place he ordered the kids he had been playing with to take Kaya and get her somewhere safe. Naruto nodded. I guess that will do for now, but you still need to get up. I can beat Kuro, but this is your village, you need to defend it with your own 2 hands too. Usopp nodded from the ground and fired a shot at the departing Django from his slingshot, knocking him to the ground. It didn't keep him down as he got right back up and continued to chase. Usopp eventually staggered to his feet before he was attacked by Butchie. Butchie, however, was intercepted by Zoro and defeated for the final time. Zoro hoisted Usopp up on his shoulders. I'll take you to find them. You can't walk and I can't find my way around without getting lost. Kuro moved in front of them. And who says I'll let you leave? A foot planted itself in the side of his head, knocking him to the ground. Naruto landed on his feet with his arms crossed and a scowl on his face. Who the fuck cares what you say? I called you a dead man, and no one gives a rat's ass about what a dead fool like you has to say. Zoro took the opportunity to take off into the forest with Usopp. Kuro stood back up and seemingly vanished again, reappearing right behind Naruto and taking a swing at him with his claws. Naruto drew a kunai and blocked it over his shoulder. You should quit now and leave. Maybe then I won't kill you in the most humiliating way I can conjure. Kuro backed off from the clash. I want to know why you would risk your life protecting this pathetic village. Naruto chuckled. Trust me, my life isn't in the least bit of jeopardy from you or your loser crew. I could kill you all in one move, but that would be overkill, and besides, Usopp wants this little battle here to remain a secret from the rest of the village, and who am I to go against such a simple request? However, I'm here to fight for 2 real reasons. 1, Luffy, Zoro, and Nami-chan are here, and I'm getting rather attached to these guys. Naruto pointed down at Nami, who was trying to wake up Luffy, and winked at her. Reason number 2, I just don't fucking like your face. Kuro lunged at Naruto with his claws. Die boy. Naruto started dodging the slashes of the claws effortlessly. Sigh dude, you're not as fast as you think you are. Why are you even doing this? She offered you the money. You could have taken it and left, and I probably would have let you leave since it was her choice. Kuro kept attacking. That's not good enough. This scheme is meant to erase Captain Kuro from the world once and for all. I am sick and tired of taking care of my idiot crew. Even though I achieved every pirate's dream of fame, it only brought me trouble I didn't want. That is why I killed my name 3 years ago. Naruto shook his head and socked Kuro in the face, knocking him backwards again. He gave Kuro a sickened glare. You damned coward. You wanted an easy way in life, and when it started getting tough and bothersome you took a cheap way out. But that wasn't enough. No, you got away, and you're still trying to turn tricks. You're scum. Kuro pulled himself to his feet. I have waited 3 years for this chance to happen, and a low-class pirate brat like you cannot stop me. He vanished from sight before reappearing on Naruto's left side to thrust his claws out at him. Naruto simply placed his hand out and caught his claws in one hand. First of all, I can stop you because, like I told you from the start, you're weak and not even anywhere near my league. Second of all, I'm not a brat, not in way, shape or form. And third of all, I'm not a goddamn pirate. Naruto broke the claws on Kuro's hand and backhanded him across the face, sending him flying down the hill. Nami stopped trying to wake Luffy in order to watch Naruto effortlessly dissect Kuro with not even an ounce of effort on his face. Naruto-kun, who or what are you? Where does a guy like you even come from? Kuro stood up with blood dripping from his head as his crew tried to encourage him to keep fighting. Shut up, I thought I said that I would kill you all, including Django, when my plan is complete. The crew tried reasoning with him. I never thought of letting you leave in the first place. If anyone knew that I was truly alive, I would be in trouble soon thereafter. Naruto shook his head once more in disgust. You really are an asshole. Using your men like disposable pawns, what kind of leader are you? Kuro laughed. That's what these pirates are. A kid like you doesn't know anything. He choked on his words when Naruto vanished and smashed him in the body with his knee. Naruto spoke coldly as Kuro was hunched over his knee. You're absolutely nothing. He picked up Kuro by his collar and threw him aside. Get up. Get up and do your worst so that I can break you at your absolute best. I want to see the look on your face when you realize that you had no chance of winning here today. Kuro stood shakily and hunched his body somewhat. You want to see the power of a pirate that has fought in many battles and has survived and thrived. He's going to use the Shikushi. We're in the direct path. He'll kill us all. Naruto's lips quirked as he heard the crew begin to panic. Well, now you've got me interested. You may have fought and survived many battles, but I was literally born for combat and was raised around it. Nami had pulled Luffy's unconscious body onto the boat and she had attempted to loot the Black Cat pirate's ship. What? Did everyone stop? Suddenly crew members began appearing with slash marks on their bodies. Men were being eviscerated, having limbs cut off, all kinds of grievous slashing wounds. Even the walls were slashed. Naruto didn't blink as the sounds of the carnage rang out around him, while men were dropping around him left and right. Nami blinked in horror as she watched the blood fly across the pass. How could someone do this to their own comrades? A low growl began to rip from Naruto's throat as he heard the cries of agony. Naruto shut his eyes and thrust his arm in a random direction as a shockwave passed by his body. In his grasp was the throat of Captain Kuro with his claws at his side. Naruto could feel the man's neck giving out under the pressure of his grip. You couldn't see a damn thing and yet you massacred your own men just to get a decent shot at me. And the real kicker is, you're not even that fast. I've fought guys faster than you. Hell, I'm faster than you. Naruto opened his free hand to form a Rasengan in the palm of his hand and shoved it into Kuro's chest. Kuro screamed in agony as Naruto kept it low-powered enough to leave a permanent spiral mark without shredding his entrails. Naruto waited until Kuro passed out and threw him at his crew. Take this piece of shit and leave this place. I don't want your ship. I don't want anything to do with that pathetic bastard whatsoever. Get off of this island or I will destroy you all. He finished in a warped and dark tone as traces of red flickered into his eyes. The crew scooped Kuro up and hightailed it back onto the boat to hastily escape. Naruto waited until the boat was sailing off into the distance before sitting down on the ground. Nami sat down next to them with a bag. So Luffy's still asleep, huh? Hey, you steal some more stuff. Nami smiled at him and nodded. You must be exhausted after all of that. Naruto shook his head. Not really, Nami-chan, that was too easy for me to get tired. I'm just trying to calm down. I almost lost it listening to that Tem talk. Is your shoulder okay? Django cut your kind of badly. Yes, I'm fine, it was just a flesh wound really. Nami's smile dropped as she sat down next to him on the ground. I've never seen anyone fight like that in my entire life. It was almost scary. You didn't even do that clone thing that you tried at first. Naruto shrugged. He was weak. I've fought people that would have taken him apart like a mannequin. As fast as he thought he was moving in slow motion to me. I don't use my jutsu on weak people. Nami's sweat dropped. That was Captain Kuro. One of the most notorious and famous pirates in the East Blue. Naruto scratched his head. Really? Well, this region of the world is really weak then. Other than being fast, that guy didn't have anything. Luffy could have smashed that guy if he didn't smash himself after getting hypnotized. Nami looked skeptical but accepted it as one of the strange boy's quirks. Why did you let all of the pirates go if you could have beaten them? Naruto sighed. They were all just idiots that couldn't pick a decent leader. They were misled by a man that was willing to sacrifice all of them for his own selfish gain. Nami adjusted the bag in her lap. What are you talking about, Naruto-kun? That's the way all pirates are. Naruto noticed that she called him Naruto-kun, and filed that away for later thought, but for the time being he gave her a dry look and simply pointed down at the boat where Luffy was sleeping. Nami laughed sheepishly. Well, I guess you and Luffy are the anomalies. Naruto smiled at her before a tick mark showed on his head. Maybe Tsunami-chan, but I'm not a damn pirate. What will it take to get my point across? XXX. One day after the battle with the Black Cat pirates, they were found in the tavern that they had been frequenting by Kaya, who led them to the shore where they had just fought the day before. There happened to be a very pleasant surprise waiting for them. Nami clasped her hands together in a pleased fashion. It's a caravel. Naruto was much more vocal with his excitement, however, as he ran up and hugged the side of the ship, sticking to it with chakra like a spider. Oh, thanked Kami. Finally, elbow room. I spoiled myself when I started this little journey of mine. Oh, how I've missed having a proper ship. The sight of the grown man hugging the ship like a lost family member caused sweat drops all around. Mary coughed into his hand and launched into an explanation. This ship was designed by me. It may look a little old. Its name is the Going Merry. It's a caravel ship with a rudder in the middle. He looked at the four people of whom he was speaking to. Aren't you the people who defeated the Black Cat pirates? I thought there would be more of you. Luffy threw his hands into the air in celebration. Yes. You'll give this ship to us. Kaya laughed in amusement and nodded. The group began to pale as Mary tried explaining to Luffy how to steer the ship until Nami interjected. He doesn't understand that. You'd better explain it to me. Naruto appeared at her side with a sly look on his face. Well now. I thought you weren't a member of the crew, Nami. Why would you want to know how to run the ship? Nami stuttered for a moment before turning to Naruto. I just don't feel like being lost at sea. What about you? You're still coming on the ship too, aren't you? Naruto waved it off. Yeah, but that's because this is the only ride out of here. I'm not going to actively take an interest in what's going on unless I want to, or whatever is happening is directly my problem. I'm just along for the ride, so to speak. He turned towards the ship to get a better look on it as a smirk crossed his face, though the company is quite pleasurable, I should say. Nami sputtered and blushed at how blunt he was being, but before she could call him on anything, a shout caught everyone's attention. Somebody stop me. Usopp was rolling down the hill with an oversized pack on his back heading right for the ship. Luffy looked at him in interest. What's he doing? Naruto let out an unmanly shriek. Luffy. Stop him before he destroys the ship. I want my elbow room. Luffy stuck out his foot and planted it on Usopp's face to stop his momentum, much to the long-nosed teen's relief. Thanks. Long story short, Usopp decided to go out and join the crew, thus leading to raucous celebration on board that led to Usopp painting the crew's emblem on the sail. Eventually, upon finding out Usopp's skill at using a cannon as well as a slingshot, Luffy drank down what was in his mug with a massive grin. All right. The crew has a captain, a swordsman, a navigator, a sharpshooter, and whatever the hell Naruto is. Naruto had taken up a spot in the common room away from the table where everyone else was to lay about in the couch to relax a bit. I'm not on your crew, Luffy. I'm just here for the free ride and I help you out sometimes because I'm not a moocher. That does not a crew member make. I'm just some guy, like a drifter or something. Luffy pointed at Naruto. You're the crew's vagabond then. Naruto irritably snapped at Luffy. That's not a real crew position, dumbass. Luffy looked confused. Would resident ship's hobo be better then? Luffy didn't notice the killing intent starting to radiate from Naruto while Zoro and Nami laughed at him. Show yourself. I'll kill all of you. A shout from on the deck ripped their attention away from the indoor festivities. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, comment and subscribe, as well as checking out the author on fanfiction.net.